Welcome to the 2023 Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Last but certainly not least, our third and final official being inducted today, Jim Price, or as some of you may know him as, is Pope, the Pope of Lacrosse. He could also be called the father of the Canadian field lacrosse officiating for how long he has been involved with the game. His journey in the world of lacrosse began when he started coaching his son's box lacrosse team in Barrie, Ontario during the early 1970s. His dedication to the sport soon expanded to field lacrosse, where he served as the RIC for the Ontario Field Lacrosse Association from 1983 to 1995. Jim's contributions to lacrosse officiating continued to grow. From 1989 to 2004, he assumed the role of RIC for Lacrosse Canada and later became the Vice President of the National Championships for Lacrosse in Canada in 1993. Jim is renowned for his selfless commitment to traveling the world, sharing his expertise, training officials, often at his own expense. His involvement in the international lacrosse community became even more pronounced when he joined the International Lacrosse Federation. Jim served as the RIC for World Lacrosse Championships in 2006 and held the position of deputy for the 2011 FIL World Championships. Throughout this period, Jim continued his global travels, engaging in different organizations and aiding the developmental of lacrosse in the sport and, of course, officiating. His passion for officiating was not limited to field and box lacrosse. He also officiated at the World Intercross Championships as well. In recognition of his numerous accomplishments, Jim Price received the well-deserved Lester B. Pearson Award in 2004 for his outstanding contributions to officiating in sport. World Lacrosse itself acknowledged Jim's pivotal role, stating that men's field lacrosse officiating program owes much of its success to his contributions and, of course, his leadership. Jim is held in high esteem by officials and organizations worldwide, and countless of stories are shared by officials from countries all across the world, underscoring how much they have learned from Jim. They express profound gratitude for his guidance, leadership, knowledge, and friendship. Jim Price's legacy in the world of lacrosse officiating is a testament to his enduring commitment and positive impact on the sport of lacrosse on a global scale. Please welcome into the Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Fame, Jim Price.
Good evening. Jim Price is unable to attend the induction ceremony today. I'm honored to say a few words on Jim's behalf. My fellow officials from Canada and around the world have been very fortunate to have Jim Price as a mentor, spreading his knowledge of the game of lacrosse. To open his door anytime one of them wanted to travel to Canada, to expand their game with a terrific mentor. Many did, and Jim always had room for them. Around the world, Jim Price is known as the Pope. He traveled near and far. In those places, he was always highly regarded as the guy, the father of modern-day Canadian field officials. Jim always had time to answer questions or to just sit back and have a great conversation about the game and life in general.
James Price. I was born in Grace Hospital in Toronto. I'm 80. I came home one day and my youngest boy, I think he was 5, my wife said to me, "This kid has no backbone," and I put him in lacrosse. And I said, "What's lacrosse?" And I remember that distinctly. And that's how it started. And he played in the minors in Barrie for a couple of years, and then finally I said to them, "Listen, you guys are serving me well with looking after my son. How can I help?" And they said, "Here's your team." I think 1974 rings a bell.
Okay. You became very immersed in helping to try to build officials to fill the gap.
I can remember my philosophy back then is that there's no point for originality, so steal everything. And I used to go into what I could from those experienced teams and that, and take everything that I could and put something together for what we didn't have. So I stole everything. I didn't invent anything. So,
but you delivered the information.
Well, somebody was going to do it, and somebody had to do it, and I felt that strongly, having started to get involved in the game. That let's get this right. The need was there, and somebody had to do it, and they wanted to get involved. So it was important that they got involved in the proper way, using the proper rules and so on. So it was pretty easy to see where to go. Although as a referee, people are always willing to tell me where to go. I mean, and it wasn't like I went to Japan 4 times, and I went to China twice, and this type of thing, and I went to Australia, I think 4 times, this type of thing. So, I mean, it was my game, I'll tell you. It gave me a great life. I think the hardest part was sort of what you might call taking the wheat from the chaff, or the chaff from the wheat, or whatever they say, because there was no organization at that time, and so that's why I say we had to go around and travel around to see what is being done and what should be done, and then what has to be eliminated, and through consensus and through what was working and which direction to go. That was the hardest part. So.
Do you remember a game or games that were amazing, great games to be involved in?
Oh, there was so many of them. I mean, the game itself, and the athletes individually. Some guys were just music to watch. This was the reward of refereeing, is that you had a grandstand seat, and you could see, because some of those guys were just magic. Just. Yeah. I mean, when you saw it well done, as I say, it was just like watching a symphony. And there was plenty of that. I'd just like to say that I feel one of the truisms in life of men, of boys, is that they tend to get themselves into trouble one way or another. And being involved in the game of lacrosse, it saved me from any of that stuff, because it kept me so busy, and I'm forever grateful for that. But also it put me on a path where I was able to travel around the world and find out what was going on, and it gave me a much broader life than I ever would have had, and much better quality too.
Wonderful.
So I'm grateful to the game for that.
On behalf of Jim Price, Bill Fox, fellow Lacrosse Hall of Fame inductee, please welcome.